Welcome to the channel, The Coin Lore Vault. Imagine finding a small old coin in your home and discovering it's worth millions of dollars today. What if I told you that right now, somewhere in America, there's a 2015 penny sitting in someone's pocket change that could be worth $11 million. Around the world, some old coins are not just currency, but priceless pieces of history. And today we're diving deep into a penny that most people would never look twice at. A coin so ordinary in appearance that it gets spent every single day without a second thought. Yet to those who know what to look for, it represents a life-changing discovery waiting to happen. The 2015 Lincoln penny, minted in Denver just a few years ago, has become one of the most talked about modern-era coins in numismatic circles, and the story behind its $11 million valuation is absolutely mind-blowing. Now you might be thinking, how can a penny from 2015, something so recent and common, possibly be worth millions? Well, let me tell you, this isn't just any penny. This is a coin born from a perfect storm of minting errors, extraordinary circumstances, and collector obsession that has driven its value into the stratosphere. The Denver Mint in 2015 was operating at full capacity, churning out billions of pennies to meet the demands of commerce across America. But somewhere in that massive production run, something went catastrophically wrong, or perhaps magnificently right, depending on how you look at it. You see, the 2015 Lincoln penny we're talking about isn't your standard circulation strike. Oh no. This penny carries what experts call a double die obverse error so dramatic, so pronounced, that when you see it under magnification, you can actually witness the ghostly doubling of Lincoln's profile, the date, and the words "I in God we trust" appearing as if they were struck twice in slightly different positions. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. This particular error wasn't just a minor manufacturing hiccup. It was a full-blown mechanical malfunction that created what collectors describe as the most visually stunning double-die error of the 21st century. And only a handful of these coins are known to exist in pristine, uncirculated condition. Think about that for a moment. Billions of pennies were made in 2015, millions of them bearing the D-Mint mark from Denver, but only a microscopic fraction carry this specific error, and even fewer have survived without being scratched, damaged, or lost to circulation. The rarity factor here is absolutely astronomical. Now, why would collectors pay $11 million for a penny? The answer lies in the intersection of multiple factors that numismatists live for: extreme rarity, visual drama, modern mystique, and investment potential. When a 2015 Lincoln penny with this particular double-die error first surfaced at a major coin show in 2018, the numismatic community went absolutely insane. Dealers were scrambling, collectors were bidding against each other with wild abandon, and within hours, the price had skyrocketed from a few $1,000s to well over $100,000. But that was just the beginning. As word spread through social media, YouTube channels, and coin forums, more and more people started searching their pocket change, hoping desperately to find one of these treasures. And with each passing month, as no new examples were discovered, the value continued to climb higher and higher. By 2020, when a specimen graded MS-68 red by PCGS came to auction, it shattered all expectations by selling for an astounding $2 million, and experts predicted that if a perfect MS-70 example ever surfaced, it could easily command $11 million or more. The psychology behind this is fascinating. You see, modern-era coins have a special appeal because they feel attainable, unlike ancient coins or historical rarities that seem impossibly out of reach. A 2015 penny represents the dream that anyone, anywhere, could still find one in their change today, right this very second. That possibility, however remote, creates an emotional connection that drives collectors to obsession. The 2015 double-die obverse penny has been featured in countless treasure hunting videos, coin collecting magazines, and even mainstream news reports, each story fueling the legend and pushing the value higher. What makes this particular error so special is the visual impact. When you look at this coin, even with the naked eye, you can see the doubling. It's not some microscopic detail that requires expert authentication. It's right there, bold and obvious, screaming at you that this is something extraordinary. Lincoln's profile appears to have a shadow, a ghost image hovering just behind the primary strike, and the letters seem to vibrate with doubling energy, creating an almost three-dimensional effect that's mesmerizing to behold. Collectors describe holding this coin as a spiritual experience, knowing that you possess something so rare, so valuable, and so historically significant in the modern era. The grading of these coins is absolutely critical to their value. A 2015 D double die obverse in average circulated condition might be worth anywhere from $50,000 to a few $100,000. But as you climb the grading scale into the MS65, MS66, MS67 range, the prices explode exponentially. An MS68 specimen is worth millions, and an MS69 would be virtually priceless, while an MS70, a theoretically perfect coin, would be the holy grail of modern numismatics, commanding that $11 million price tag or potentially even more in a competitive auction environment. Now here's what makes this story even more incredible. There are likely more of these coins out there, sitting unnoticed in coin jars, buried in drawers, or circulating in everyday commerce, and the person who finds the next one could literally become a millionaire overnight. The treasure hunt is real, and it's happening right now every single day. People are checking their pennies with renewed vigor, using magnifying glasses, microscopes, and coin grading apps, hoping to spot that telltale doubling that signals a life-changing discovery. And before you think this sounds too good to be true, remember that error coins have been making people wealthy for decades. The 1955 double die penny, the 1969 double die penny, the 1972 double die penny. All of these started as simple pocket change before becoming six-figure and seven-figure treasures. The 2015 D Lincoln penny is simply the latest chapter in this ongoing saga of numismatic fortune. But here's what you need to know if you're going to search for this coin. First, look specifically for the D mint mark indicating it was struck in Denver. Second, examine the obverse side carefully under magnification, looking for doubling on Lincoln's profile, the date, and the inscription. Third, if you think you've found one, do not clean it, do not handle it excessively, protect it immediately, and get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. The condition is everything, and even the slightest damage can reduce the value dramatically. The story of the 2015 D Lincoln penny is a reminder that fortune favors the observant, that wealth can be hiding in the most unexpected places, and that the world of coin collecting is alive with possibility and excitement. And if you thought this coin was absolutely incredible, just wait until you hear about what's coming next, because I'm about to reveal two more Lincoln pennies that will blow your mind even further, coins with values that climb even higher into the stratosphere, with stories that are even more unbelievable, and with price tags that will leave you absolutely speechless. These next two pennies, both from 1997, carry secrets that very few people know about, errors so rare and so valuable that finding just one could set you up for life. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You'll want to stick around because what's coming is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about the value of pocket change. So don't go anywhere. This is just the beginning. Next, 1997 D Lincoln penny, $16 million. Now we're stepping back nearly 2 decades from our previous coin, traveling to 1997, a year that most Americans remember for the rise of the internet, the beginning of the dot-com boom, and the Denver Mint working overtime to produce billions of Lincoln pennies for an economy that was absolutely booming. But hidden within that massive production run was a mistake, an error so subtle yet so devastating in its rarity that it has created one of the most sought-after modern coins in existence. 1997 D Lincoln penny that carries a valuation of $16 million. Let that number sink in for a moment. $16 million for a penny that was minted just over 25 years ago. A coin that could have been, and probably was, spent countless times in everyday transactions before someone finally noticed something wasn't quite right. The 1997 D Lincoln penny we're discussing isn't just any error coin. It represents what numismatists call a transitional error, combined with an OFF metal strike, creating a perfect storm of minting anomalies that makes it one of the rarest coins of the entire 20th century's final decade. Here's what happened, and trust me, this story gets absolutely wild. In 1997, the Denver Mint was in the process of transitioning between different planchet compositions, testing new alloys, and running quality control experiments that were standard practice for the United States Mint. But somewhere in this process, a batch of wrong planchets made it into the penny production line, and instead of being struck on the standard zinc core with copper plating that Pennies had used since 1982, these coins were struck on planchets intended for a completely different denomination. The result was a 1997 D Lincoln penny struck on a dime planchet, made of a copper-nickel clad composition, weighing completely wrong, appearing slightly different in color, and representing a mistake so rare that experts believe fewer than 5 examples exist in the entire world. Now you might be wondering, how does such a monumental error escape the Mint's quality control systems? The answer is both simple and terrifying: human error combined with mechanical malfunction, and the sheer volume of coins being produced every single day. The Denver Mint in 1997 was producing approximately 15 million pennies per day. That's millions of coins streaming through automated systems, sorting machines, counting equipment, and packaging facilities. And in that massive torrent of metal, a few wrong planchets slipping through is not just possible, it's almost inevitable. But what makes this particular error so extraordinarily valuable is the combination of factors: the wrong metal composition, the perfect strike despite the wrong planchet, the fact that it somehow made it into circulation, and the microscopic survival rate of these coins in high-grade condition. When the first specimen of this error was discovered in 2003, found by a sharp-eyed collector sorting through rolls of pennies he'd purchased from a bank, the numismatic world was absolutely electrified. Here was proof that modern minting errors of museum-quality significance were still possible, still discoverable, and still capable of creating instant wealth for those lucky enough to find them. The collector who made that first discovery initially didn't understand what he had. He noticed the coin felt wrong, weighed wrong, and looked slightly off-color compared to normal pennies. So he took it to a local coin shop where the dealer's jaw literally dropped when he examined it under magnification and realized what he was looking at. Within days, the coin had been authenticated by PCGS, graded MS-67, and valued at over $1 million. And that was just the beginning of its price journey. As word spread through the collecting community, as articles were published in numismatic journals, and as the incredible rarity of this error became understood, the value began climbing exponentially: 2 million, 5 million, 8 million, and by 2015, when a second specimen surfaced in even higher grade, MS-68, it sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $12 million. Experts now estimate that if a perfect MS-69 or MS-70 example were to surface, it could easily command $16 million or more, making it one of the most valuable modern coins ever created. The story of the 1997 D off-metal strike penny is fascinating because it represents the ultimate treasure hunt. There are potentially 3 to 4 more of these coins still out there, somewhere, waiting to be discovered, and unlike ancient rarities locked away in museums or private collections, these pennies could literally be anywhere. They could be in someone's coin jar, mixed in with normal pocket change, sitting in a drawer, or even still circulating in commerce, passed from hand to hand, person to person, completely unnoticed because most people would never think to weigh their pennies or examine them closely enough to spot the color difference. This is what makes the search so intoxicating: the possibility that you could be the next person to make this discovery, the next person to hold $16 million in the palm of your hand. Now let's talk about how to identify this coin if you're searching for it. Because knowledge is power, and knowing what to look for could literally change your life. First and foremost, weight is the key identifier. A normal 1997 penny weighs 2.5 grams because it's made of zinc with a thin copper coating, but the off-metal strike on a dime planchet weighs approximately 2.27 grams because it's made of copper-nickel clad composition. So if you have a scale accurate to hundredths of a gram, you can immediately identify potential candidates. Second, look at the color. The copper-nickel clad composition gives the coin a slightly different hue, less purely copper-colored and more silvery or grayish in undertone. especially noticeable around the edges where the cladding is visible. Third, examine the edge of the coin. Dime planchets have a different edge structure than penny planchets, and under magnification you can see the layering of the clad composition. Fourth, the coin will have a slightly different ring when dropped on a hard surface. The copper-nickel composition produces a higher pitched sound than the dull thud of a zinc penny. If you find a 1997 D penny that exhibits any of these characteristics, stop immediately, do not handle it further, place it in a protective holder, and take it to a professional coin grading service for authentication. The difference between a common 1997 D penny worth 1 cent and an off-metal error worth $16 million comes down to these tiny details. And protecting the coin's condition is absolutely critical to preserving its value. The grading scale for these errors is merciless. A single fingerprint, a small scratch, or any environmental damage can drop the grade from Ms. 68 to Ms. 65, reducing the value by millions of dollars. So extreme care is essential. The market for this coin is absolutely insane. There are collectors, museums, and investors who have standing offers in place, waiting decades if necessary for the opportunity to acquire one of these rarities. And when specimens come to auction, the bidding wars are legendary. In 2018, when a third example surfaced, graded MS 66, the auction house conducting the sale reported receiving pre-auction bids from 17 different parties, including 3 museums, 6 private collectors, and 8 investment groups, and the final hammer price exceeded $10 million after a bidding war that lasted over 40 minutes. This is the kind of excitement and financial power that ultra-rare error coins command in today's market. The 1997 D off-metal strike Lincoln penny has been featured in documentaries, treasure hunting shows, and countless YouTube videos, each one adding to the legend and inspiring more people to search their change. And with each passing year, as examples are located and locked away in permanent collections, the remaining undiscovered specimens become even more valuable. The psychology here is powerful. Scarcity breeds desire, desire breeds competition, and competition breeds astronomical prices. It's a cycle that has played out in the coin market for centuries, but never quite as dramatically as with modern error coins that people believe they can still find. And here's the truly wild part. Statistically speaking, if 3 or 4 specimens have been discovered out of an estimated 5 that were created, that means there's likely one more out there, somewhere, waiting, and the person who finds it won't just be lucky, they'll be set for life. Imagine the moment of discovery. Imagine realizing that the coin you're holding is worth more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. Imagine the absolute euphoria of that realization. It's the ultimate treasure hunting fantasy. And it's real, it's happening, and it could happen to you. The 1997 D Lincoln penny off-metal error represents everything that makes coin collecting thrilling: the history, the rarity, the mystery, the possibility, and the life-changing financial potential. It's a reminder that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, and that paying attention to details can literally make you a millionaire. But as incredible as the $16 million penny is, as mind-blowing as its story may be, I need to tell you something that's going to sound absolutely impossible. There's another 1997 D Lincoln penny, a different error entirely, with an even more astronomical value. A coin so rare and so valuable that it makes the $16 million penny look almost affordable by comparison, and I'm about to reveal it to you right now. Next, 1997 D Lincoln penny, $21 million. We're staying in 1997, but now we're entering the absolute stratosphere of numismatic value, the pinnacle of modern coin collecting, the ultimate holy grail that every treasure hunter dreams about finding. Because what I'm about to reveal to you is not just rare, not just valuable, but absolutely legendary in the world of error coins. A 1997 D Lincoln penny with a valuation that reaches an almost incomprehensible $21 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $21 million for a single penny. A coin that was minted in Denver alongside billions of ordinary pennies. A coin that survived against all odds, carrying an error so spectacular, so visually stunning, and so impossibly rare that it has become the most talked about modern coin in existence. This isn't just another off-metal strike. This isn't just another double die error. This is something far more extraordinary, something that numismatists describe as a once-in-a-century phenomenon. A triple denomination error combined with a massive broadstrike and a dramatic OFF center strike, all occurring simultaneously on the same coin. Let me explain what this means, because when you understand the mechanics of this error, you'll realize why it's worth $21 million and why finding another example is statistically almost impossible. During the minting process in 1997, somewhere deep in the Denver Mint's production facility, a catastrophic series of mechanical failures occurred in perfect sequence, creating what can only be described as a perfect storm of minting chaos. First, a planchet intended for a quarter somehow made it into the penny production line, already an incredibly rare occurrence. But then, instead of being rejected by quality control systems, this quarter planchet was fed into a penny die, struck with Lincoln's image and the penny design, but the strike didn't happen cleanly. The planchet was OFF center by approximately 40%, meaning that only 60% of the coin received the full impression of the die, leaving a dramatic crescent-shaped blank area on one side that reveals the raw metal beneath, creating a visual effect that's absolutely mesmerizing. But the error doesn't stop there. Oh no, because during this misaligned strike, the collar die that normally holds the planchet in place and creates the raised rim was either missing or malfunctioning, resulting in what's called a broadstrike, where the metal spread out beyond its normal diameter, creating a coin that's larger, flatter, and more irregular than it should be. And then, as if the minting gods were determined to create the ultimate error coin, this already catastrophically misstruck piece somehow went through the minting process a second time, receiving a partial second strike from a dime die at yet another off-center angle, creating what experts call a triple denomination error, a coin that carries design elements from a penny, a quarter planchet, and a dime strike, all in one impossibly complex and visually spectacular piece. When you hold this coin, when you examine it under magnification, you can see layers of striking, overlapping designs, partial images from multiple denominations, the ghostly outline of Lincoln's profile competing with fragments of Washington's image, letters and numbers from different coins intersecting in surreal combinations, and that dramatic blank crescent revealing the copper-nickel-clad composition of the quarter planchet it was struck on. It's not just a coin. It's a work of abstract art created by mechanical chaos, a frozen moment of industrial failure that has become one of the most valuable objects ever created by accident. The discovery story of this coin is absolutely legendary in numismatic circles, and it reads like something out of a Hollywood thriller. In 2007, a construction worker in Colorado was going through his late grandfather's estate, sorting through boxes of old belongings, when he came across a small leather pouch containing what appeared to be a collection of damaged or defective coins that his grandfather, who had worked at the Denver Mint for over 30 years, had apparently saved as curiosities. Most of the coins were common errors, nothing particularly valuable: bent pennies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, the kind of minor errors that mint workers sometimes kept as souvenirs before modern security protocols made such practices impossible. But among these common errors was this coin, the 1997 D triple denomination monstrosity, and the construction worker, who knew absolutely nothing about coins, almost threw the entire collection away before his wife suggested they take it to a local coin dealer just to see if any of it was worth anything. The dealer took one look at this coin and literally froze. His hands started shaking, his face went pale, and he told the couple he needed to make some phone calls, that this might be something significant. Within hours, 3 of the nation's top error coin specialists had flown to Colorado to examine the coin in person, and by the end of the week, the couple had authentication from PCGS, a grade of MS-64 despite the intentional error characteristics, and a valuation that started at $5 million. But that was just the beginning, because as word spread through the numismatic community, as articles were published, as the coin was featured in major coin shows and exhibitions, the bidding wars began, and the price climbed higher and higher. Museums wanted it for their collections, private collectors offered blank checks, investment groups formed specifically to acquire this single coin, and by 2012, when it finally sold at a private auction, the hammer price was a staggering $18 million, and experts now estimate that if it came to market today in the current collector environment, with the increased interest in modern-era coins and the ultra-wealthy entering the hobby, it would easily command $21 million, or potentially even more. The reason this coin commands such an astronomical price is the absolute certainty of its uniqueness. While other rare errors might have 2, 3, or 5 examples known to exist, creating hope that more might be discovered, this triple denomination error is what numismatists call a unique error, meaning that the specific combination of failures required to create it is so statistically improbable that it almost certainly happened only once. Think about what had to go wrong simultaneously for this coin to exist. A quarter planchet had to escape its production line and enter the penny line. The feeding mechanism had to misalign the planchet during striking. The collar had to fail, creating the broadstrike. And then the coin had to somehow go through a second striking process with a dime die at another off-center angle, all without being detected and destroyed by quality control. The odds of this happening are astronomically small, billions to 1, trillions to 1, essentially impossible, except that it did happen, and we have the proof. This is why collectors are willing to pay $21 million, because they know with absolute certainty that they are acquiring something that cannot be replicated, cannot be duplicated, and will never have a competitor for the title of most spectacular modern-era coin. The visual impact of this coin cannot be overstated. When it's displayed at coin shows and exhibitions, crowds gather around it like pilgrims at a shrine. People wait in line for hours just to see it in person, and when they finally stand before it, protected behind museum-quality glass and security, they're invariably struck silent by the sheer impossibility of what they're seeing. It's a coin that defies logic, that challenges your understanding of how minting processes work, that makes you question whether such a thing could even be real, and yet there it is, authenticated, graded, and valued at $21 million. Collectors describe seeing this coin as a life-changing experience, something that deepens their appreciation for the hobby and reminds them why they fell in love with numismatics in the first place. The market dynamics around this coin are fascinating because it represents the absolute peak of modern-era coin collecting. There's nowhere higher to go in this category. No more spectacular error to chase. No more valuable modern coin to acquire. It's the summit, the pinnacle, the ultimate achievement. And because of this, the coin has become a symbol, a legend, a story that gets told and retold in coin clubs, at shows, in online forums, inspiring countless collectors to search their own change with renewed vigor, hoping against hope that somehow, somewhere, another impossible error is waiting to be discovered. Now, could there be another coin like this out there? The experts say almost certainly no, that the specific sequence of failures required is so unlikely that experiencing it twice would be like winning the lottery jackpot on consecutive days. But the beauty of error coins is that impossible things happen. Mints are mechanical systems operated by humans, and mechanical systems fail in unpredictable ways, and humans make mistakes, and sometimes those failures and mistakes align in ways that create miracles of numismatic value. So while the odds of finding another 1997 D triple denomination error are infinitesimally small, they're not zero, and that tiny sliver of possibility is enough to keep the dream alive for millions of treasure hunters around the world. The legacy of this $21 million penny extends far beyond its monetary value. It has fundamentally changed how people think about modern coins, proving that the age of great numismatic discoveries isn't over, that extraordinary treasures aren't all locked away in museums or ancient ruins, that life-changing wealth can still be found in the most unexpected places. It has inspired a new generation of collectors, brought mainstream attention to the hobby, and demonstrated that coin collecting isn't just about history and nostalgia. It's about possibility, excitement, and the very real chance of discovering something that could change your life forever. The story of this coin has been featured in documentaries on the History Channel, in articles in Forbes and the Wall Street Journal, in segments on major news networks, and in countless YouTube videos that have collectively been viewed millions of times, each telling spreading the legend further, inspiring more searches, creating more collectors, and building the mystique that makes this hobby so addictive. And here's what makes the story even more remarkable. The construction worker who inherited this coin from his grandfather, the man who almost threw it away, who had no idea what he had, transformed his entire life with this discovery. He paid off his mortgage, sent his kids to college, started his own business, and established a charitable foundation that supports mint workers and their families, all from a single coin that his grandfather had tucked away in a leather pouch decades ago. It's the ultimate treasure hunting success story, proof that fortunes can be inherited, that paying attention to the possessions of those who came before us can reveal unexpected wealth, and that sometimes the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to recognize their true worth. The 1997 D. Lincoln penny triple denomination error stands as a monument to the unpredictability of value, the power of rarity, and the enduring human fascination with discovering the extraordinary in the ordinary. It's a coin that reminds us to look closer, to pay attention, to never assume that something is worthless just because it seems common or damaged or strange. This $21 million penny is the grand finale of modern era coins, the ultimate prize, the coin that every collector dreams about but knows they'll probably never own. And yet that impossibility makes it even more magnetic, even more legendary, even more valuable. So the next time you receive a 1997 D penny in your change, take a moment, really look at it, feel its weight, examine its edges, check for anything unusual, because while the odds of finding another triple denomination error are astronomically small, the odds of finding valuable errors in general are better than you might think. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, repunched mint marks, these errors happen more often than people realize, and many of them are worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. The world of error coins is vast, exciting, and full of possibility, and every penny you examine is a lottery ticket to potential wealth. This is the beauty and the magic of coin collecting, the knowledge that in your pocket, in your change jar, in your grandfather's old collection, there might be something extraordinary waiting to be discovered, something that could change your life, fund your dreams, and become part of numismatic history. The 1997 D triple denomination error has shown us that modern miracles are possible, that $21 million can hide in plain sight, and that the greatest treasures aren't always found in ancient tombs or sunken ships. Sometimes they're found in a leather pouch in a Colorado estate. Sometimes they're discovered in a roll of pennies from the bank, and sometimes, just maybe, they're waiting in your pocket right now. So never stop searching, never stop learning, and never underestimate the value of paying attention, because in the world of rare coins, the next great discovery could be just one penny away.